Good morning, my friends. Welcome to this episode of Healing Your Codependency. I'm Marshall Berkshire, and I'm your guide in increasing safety, connection, and self-worth in your life so that you can let go of codependency and connect with relationships, people, places, and things that matter to you so you can enjoy your life. Today, we are addressing the 4 sabotages. We're in number 3 right now. That is, the wrong tools create the wrong results. And that leads to discouragement. That leads to frustration. That leads to fear. That leads to helplessness and hopelessness, especially if it's long term. So that's what we're going to be jumping into today. We're just going to jump right into it. So, a couple of things that can help you know if you're dealing with the wrong tools in your healing work. Because this is something I repeatedly encounter in my life. I don't have the right tools with the right knowledge, with the right support in the right order, and I'm not getting the results I want. And so I've learned some signals that show up in me and show up in the work that I'm doing that tell me that I'm not using the right tools for the thing that I'm trying to address in my life. So I'm going to be sharing that with you today as well. So it starts with this. We have a habit in codependency of trying to make ourselves fit the knowledge, fit the tools, fit the practice, because we think that we're the problem. Like, oh, this tool isn't working, so it must be me. The tool is right, I'm wrong, kind of thinking. So that can show up as finding a tool and trying to use it to address everything you encounter in your life. I did this with EFT. I did this with meditation. I did this with observation practices. I did this with mindfulness. I used it to try to address all the problems I had in my life because it worked in a specific area and I was hopeful it would work in others. But in reality, it didn't. So that sets us up for wrong results on that. I've also done this, and let me know if you've done this in the comments below. Tried a tool once, it didn't work, so I stopped using it. I found certain tools take time to create impact. One of those tools is regulation. I tried that once. I'm like, I'm not feeling any better. I still have all this anxiety and all this fear. And so I quit doing it. But when I actually committed to the process of doing the tool for at least a month, doing it once a day, which took me about 5 minutes, that got me results because I started to see a change within about 2 weeks. I'm like, well, it is less anxiety. It is less frequent. It's less intense. So I started to see that. So that's something we do to ourselves quite a bit is we try a tool once, doesn't work, we quit. So we got to be careful there because that comes from this other thing we tend to do is we're seeking the magic bullet that will solve all our problems for us. It'll heal all the pain at once. Yeah, there aren't tools that are going to do that in my experience. And my experience with healing is that you need specific tools for specific challenges and needs that show up in your reality. So seeking a magic bullet tool, not so much. And then try the tool over and over, even though it wasn't working, thinking that you're the problem. That's one thing I did a lot too. Especially with EFT did not really work for me in a lot of areas, but I kept trying it, thinking it should work because there's something wrong with me. It's working for those people. Why isn't it working for me? Big challenge there. What I had learned in that is that tools work for specific things for me and not for other things. So when I see that it starts to wear off or stops getting me results, it's time to slow down, see what I need in that. And that's what we really get into here with today's episode. What is a right tool? How does it work? And what are we looking for here? So right tools are paired with the proper knowledge and they address a specific challenge, need, or pain. So I can't use one tool for all things. That's like using a hammer to try to screw a screw into the wall or using a hammer to dig a hole, that kind of thing. It's not the appropriate tool for it. I could try. It's going to be painful. It's going to be frustrating. It's not going to be very effective. But once I understand what I'm trying to accomplish, then I can look at what knowledge is being taught on that objective, and what tools pair with that. A good example of this comes from my experience with anxiety. With anxiety, I didn't have the right knowledge for a very long time. I was told that this is something I have to live with. It's part of my nature. and that I need to learn to cope with it. And those coping skills were a lot of cognitive behavioral therapy approaches like reframing, exposure therapy, things like that. Ironically, that completely backfired and caused panic attacks, high levels of rumination, an intense sense of anxiety and panic in my life. It really didn't help me at all. And so I was being given the wrong knowledge, so I was being given the wrong tools based on that knowledge. Now, as I got deeper into trauma, learning about trauma, understanding nervous system responses, understanding the somatic self, I started to also gain the right knowledge that paired me with new tools, and those new tools actually started working. They took a little time, but they started producing the results I was seeking, which was a reduction in the anxiety, both in its frequency, its intensity, and its duration, how long it lasted. That's what told me I was gaining the right knowledge and I had the right tools, because it's producing the result that I was seeking. And this is crucial to any kind of work we do in our life. We have to understand what our problem actually is. So we got to have that right knowledge so that we can have the right tool to create the result we're seeking. And part of that is the support component too. Without the support component involved in that, I would have never, well, I can't say that I would have never done it. It would have been significantly more difficult for me to discover this right knowledge and right process, because I was in a coaching program at the time that I had made a significant investment into. It was like $4,000, and I had asked the person, hey, this isn't working for me. I'm not seeing the results others are having. You mentioned that this might happen and reach out. So I reached out and he said, hey, I know what you need. Contact this person. This is what you need to focus on. So I did exactly what he guided me to do, and I got the results because I started getting the right knowledge for the challenge that I was facing. See, our right tools are a direct product of having the right knowledge with the right support. That's why the codependency healing system is designed the way it is, because it provides a deep support to help you accomplish results in the work that you're doing. Because frankly, we get results with basically 3 steps. We attend the classes where we get the knowledge, we do the practices where we get the experience, and then we reach out for support when we need it. This empowers you to succeed. It's really, I know I'm saying it's simple, and it is, especially when you get down the road and you start seeing it for yourself. You're like, yeah, I get the right knowledge, I do the right tools, I start seeing results, and if I don't, I get the right support so I can adjust the tool. Because you're not the problem. You're not the reason you don't get results a lot of the times. There is some things we might do in that. I'll address that here in a second. But a lot of times you're taking the effort. You're making the risk. You're investing your time and energy, focus, and money on the thing. So you're taking the right steps. It's just that you're not aligned with the right. If the knowledge isn't accurate to what you need, and it's not connecting you to the tools that produce the results you want. That's why my work is really, really specific. I help you increase safety, connection, and self-worth in your life, because that addresses the cause of codependency, which is the fawn response. These 3 needs of safety, connection, and self-worth, when they are nurtured properly, disengage the fawn response in the body. You don't need to be codependent anymore. That's why I do that work. It's why I don't have a broad spectrum of we just heal all the traumas. Now, this is really specific because codependency has very specific needs in it that need to be addressed for it to be disengaged, and specifically with the fawn response. So you're not the challenge here. We become our own challenge. We have to look at how we're committing ourselves to the work. That's where our challenges come in. That's where we sabotage ourselves, by not showing up to the class or watching the recording, not doing the practices consistently, not getting support when we need it. And a lot of times those 3 things are driven by an underlying anxiety of being a burden, being a disappointment, or being there's shame driving it. Because a lot of times we're driven by our perfectionism in this. And in my work, I welcome all of that in. All of that matters. All of that's a crucial part of the right knowledge, the right practices, the right support, and the right order. That's anticipated and expected in this work, because we're undoing that programming. We are learning how to love ourselves even though shame is present. We're learning how to take action even though there's no perfection in it. We're learning to show up as we are and then receive support, guidance, celebration, and care in that process. That's why I put a lot of live interactive trainings in the codependency healing system. You don't have to do them all. The things I see consistently that help students succeed is showing up to the class or watching the recording, doing their practices, and getting support when they need it. And a lot of the live support I offer, a lot of the live trainings I offer outside of the primary class trainings is in the support component. Deeper knowledge about a topic, practice in the tools, help with questions about the homework, just help in life, community and connection, all of that. So that's all you got to do. And when you have the right tools, with the right knowledge, you succeed. Because we're designed to succeed. We just need to have the right things in order so that we can do that. So here's some things I've learned over the last 15 years about detecting whether or not I've got the right tool for what I'm addressing. Number one, the tool is designed to address specifically the challenge I am facing. So like again, with my example with the anxiety challenge, I was given the wrong tools, the wrong knowledge because they didn't fully understand what anxiety is at that point in time. So if I've noticed that I'm getting knowledge and tools and it's not producing a result that I'm looking for, like, it should be able to reduce anxiety. Why not? If I'm learning that, I'll never get over this, or this is something you have to cope with, or something like that, I get very, very skeptical. I'm like, maybe. Now, there are like certain traumas that we might live with for the rest of our life, but we can experience a reduction in the intensity, duration, and frequency of that pain. I mean, there are traumas in my body that are still alive, but they're not, they don't arrest or paralyze me anymore. They're maybe a 4 or a 5 on the scale. Sometimes they pick up to a 6 or a 7, but we care for them. So I'm not saying that the prominence or duration of a traumatic response in our body, if that's still there, it means something's failing. Sometimes we're going to have to learn how to care for that for a while and then navigate it as it is, because sometimes there are things we will live with that way. So I don't promise that everything will be healed because I don't know what will happen for you. What I can promise is that you'll have the ability to take care of yourself, navigate those things, and then be supported through that process so that you can grow and advance beyond that, so that pain is no longer arresting you. So again, the tool is designed to address specifically what you're encountering, and then you start to see results as you use the tool. The tool is, number two, is the tool is supported directly by the knowledge that you're gaining. So you're learning about anxiety, and then you get a tool that says, hey, here's how we work with the anxiety, rather than here's just a general tool, like here's a general meditation on it or something like that. It's very specific to the thing. Now, sometimes you're taught frameworks. I teach several frameworks in the codependency healing system. I teach like the ALI framework, which is acknowledge, legitimize, and integrate. This is a psychosomatic framework we can use to help move ourselves through pain, through emotion, through sensation, and find some integration and some relief from pain and some increasing joy in that. But we can use different tools within that framework. So you're going to learn frameworks, but tools are usually very specific about the thing that they're addressing. That's why I have a huge library of tools, because they are designed to be specific that way. The third thing is you start to experience changes in the intensity, frequency, and duration of the pain that you're addressing. Those are direct signals of effective tools and knowledge. Because when we have the right knowledge with the right tools, with the right support, it's going to lower the pain. It's going to lower the intensity of it, how much it lasts, and how frequently it shows up. That's what we're looking for there. And then number 4, it makes sense to your body and mind, especially after practicing it. I found that tools that are really effective continue to expand my awareness of me, awareness of my pain and what it's trying to do for me, what it's trying to tell me. It helps me understand the knowledge more because it's educating my body in its realm, in the somatic realm, where it's learning the reality of this tool and what it means to do it, to live, to breathe, and things like that. So not all tools will be effective for you. This is a normal component in healing. Like breath work for me does not work really well, but certain types of meditations do, certain types of regulation techniques do for me. So I use those because that's what makes my body happy. So I've allowed my body to educate me about what kind of tools to use and what kind of tools not to use based on the prominent experience I had with that particular kind of tool. So my friends, it's not always you. Sometimes it is if we're not doing, learning the knowledge, practicing the tools, and getting the support we need. Those are the three things you focus on. You take big responsibility on those things, you will succeed. But oftentimes, it's just that the tool is not compatible with what you're trying to accomplish. And even sometimes the tool that works for person A doesn't work for person B. That's why we customize the tool. We inquire into what you need, and then we help your body guide you in creating a tool that works for you. And we also do that in the Codependency healing system. That's part of our work, is learning how to sense in what we need and then modify existing tools, or sometimes we'll create a new one. I do that a fair bit. That's how we really heal. That's what it means to have the right knowledge, the right tools, the right support, in the right order. So let me know your thoughts on this training today, my friends. We're almost to a week. You've got like 7 days before the enrollment closes for the Codependency healing system. This is the only time this year you can enroll. It's the only time you can enroll for the live classes. The next time you want to do the live classes will be August of next year. This is a good time to, if you're really interested in what I'm teaching you resonates to you and you want to, if you're wondering if this is the leap to take, allow yourself to acknowledge that, hey, yeah, this is really interesting. I want to do this. But if you have this impulse of like, I'll wait till next year, check in with that, because I have found in myself that that's a sabotage a lot of times. Like, oh, I'll just wait. See what the anxiety is. See what else is there. Because sometimes it's like, I don't know if I can commit the time to it. Well, the time is like 1.5 hours for class, 20 to 60 minutes a week for homework. So 3 hours at max. That's all you have to allocate. You can go at your own pace in it. You don't have to keep up with the live classes. And then we just support you as you need. So that can help there too. If you're wondering if this is the right fit for you, if you deal with codependency, people-pleasing, perfectionism, and other processes haven't been working for you, if what I teach you resonates, expands your awareness, and impacts your ability to change how you see yourself, you feel some change in that, or you see some changes, this is a good fit for you. That really can indicate that for you. And if you struggle with the anxiety of committing to it, like, will I follow through? I buy courses and don't follow through. This is a commitment and execution challenge for you. And so what we do there is we acknowledge it. It's like, yeah, it's kind of scary to get started. It's a new thing. It's a new routine. I'm scared that I won't do it right. It's uncomfortable to get started into something new. Yeah, of course it is. So what I encourage you to do is acknowledge it and then legitimize it. It's going to be uncomfortable for a while I get this integrated into my life. That gets you started down the road. So if you have any other questions or any challenges or anxieties or doubts or concerns that show up, feel free to contact me. You can go to the sales page that's linked above on Facebook, below on YouTube, or on my front page at healyourcodependency.com. Send me a question. Let's see what it's coming up for you, and then get you the right direction, the right guidance for you based on what your body's telling you. Because maybe it isn't the right fit, and maybe it is. We just need to know what you need, and then give you the guide, and then connect you with that need and see what shows up for you there. What guidance reveals inside your body and your own wisdom. So there you go, my friends. So again, we start in 7 days from this coming Monday. Enrollment closes 7 days from tomorrow. Please let me know if you have any questions. And then thank you guys for showing up. Thank you for your feedback, for your questions, for your praise, for letting me know how my work is impacting your life, and for supporting me in this, because I know it's a sales thing right now and that can be a little intense, but I appreciate you. Let me know if you have any questions or any thoughts, comments below. Otherwise, I will see you guys in our next episode. Bye-bye.